They said beauty had a price. But Teni never thought it would cost her soul. In the heart of Ntiji, where stories are whispered and spirits still listen, an ancient power waits for the one who disobeys. Some crowns were never meant to be removed, and some spirits never forgive. To break the curse, she must become what she fears most. What you take off might never let go.
The music in the Lekki penthouse party pulsed like a living heartbeat, loud, fast, and fake. Tiniola Black adjusted her synthetic frontal lace wig for the 100th time, feeling the pressure of all the stares around her. She was beautiful, but not Lekki standard beautiful, not yet. The other slay queens in the room had flawless bone-straight hair, glass skin, and million naira drip. She had thrifted heels, a knockoff Dior bag, and hope. She didn't even know how she made it to this invite-only influencer party. She just knew she had to belong. Then she saw her. Melinda XO, the queen of Lagos Instagram. Melinda didn't walk, she glided. Every girl at the party parted for her like a river split by a god. And then, shockingly, Melinda walked straight to Teni, smiled and said, "I've been watching you. You're special." In her gloved hand, she held a black silk bonnet with golden embroidery shimmering like fire under the light. "Wear this tonight. Your real glow starts now." Teni took it with trembling hands. "Why me?" Melinda's smile sharpened. "Because you want it bad enough." Later that night, back in her shared apartment in Surulere, Teni turned on her ring light, unboxed the bonnet for her followers, and wore it like a crown. She looked in the mirror and gasped. Her edges laid flat like magic, her skin radiated, and her reflection looked perfect. But then, just behind her shoulder in the mirror, a faint, shadowy figure appeared. A girl with no eyes and a bleeding mouth. Gone in a blink. Teni laughed nervously. Must be the lighting. Or the heat. Then her phone buzzed. A DM from Melinda XO. "Don't take it off. Not even once." The night felt hotter than usual. The fan spun lazily above Teni's head, offering no comfort. She lay in bed, the silk bonnet snug on her head, feeling almost tight. But she didn't care. Her last TikTok video hit 70K views in 3 hours. Comments flooded in. "Glow Queen! That lace is undetectable. Omo, which stylist oh?" But she hadn't touched her face or wig. Somehow the bonnet was working magic. Still, something tugged at her nerves. That strange image in the mirror wouldn't leave her mind. The headless girl. Or was it faceless? Sometime past midnight, Teni drifted off, only to be jolted awake by a low whisper. It wasn't from outside, and the fan was still spinning. Then she heard it again. Voice. Right beside her ear. "Teni, you're almost ready." She sat up instantly, heart racing, eyes scanning the dark. No one. Her roommate was out of town. The door was locked. She reached for her phone, the screen cold and dead. Battery 100%, but it wouldn't turn on. Then came the scent, like charred hair and burning incense, thick and suffocating. Her mirror fogged over slowly, and words began to form on the glass, written from the other side. 3 more nights. Teni screamed, ripped the bonnet from her head, and tossed it across the room. The whisper stopped. Silence. Then a single knock at her door. Not loud. Just one. She crept forward, hands shaking. She opened the door slowly. But the corridor was empty, except for one thing. The bonnet was sitting neatly on the floor, right outside her room. And it was dripping wet. Teni didn't move. The bonnet lay there like a living thing, soaked in water yet giving off steam. How did it get outside? She'd tossed it onto her chair. Her mind raced through every possible explanation, but nothing made sense. With trembling fingers she picked it up. It was warm. The embroidery shimmered as if it were pulsing with heat, and the gold thread along the edge had twisted into a strange symbol, a spiral with a slash through it. She didn't recognize it, but it made her stomach turn. She shoved the bonnet into a drawer and slammed it shut. No more. This wasn't a glow-up. It was madness. She barely slept, too afraid to close her eyes. By morning she looked rough, dry lips, eye bags, dull skin. Yet, when she checked her Instagram, the photos from the night before were somehow better than she remembered. Perfect lighting, smooth skin, even makeup she never applied. Her DMs overflowed with brands and promoters asking to collaborate. Then something chilled her. One of the photos showed a reflection behind her. A pale woman with no mouth, just gaping black space, her hand resting on Teni's shoulder. She rushed to delete it, but Instagram glitched and wouldn't let her remove it. The comments started shifting. Who's that behind you? Is this a filter or nah? Babe, this looks demonic, flushed face. Her phone buzzed with a new DM, again from Melinda XO. You took it off. That's why you're fading. Put it back. Tonight. Teni froze. She hadn't told anyone she removed the bonnet. Her hands started shaking as she looked in the mirror, and for a split second her reflection didn't move. Teni backed away from the mirror, heart pounding so loudly she thought the neighbors could hear it. Her reflection had stared at her for half a second longer than it should have, eyes still, lips curling slowly into a wicked grin that she hadn't made. It was subtle but unmistakable. She flung a towel over the mirror and ran out of the room, barefoot, not even caring that her bonnet was still locked in the drawer. She needed space. Hence, maybe she was losing her mind. Maybe it was stress. Lagos could do that to you. She ended up at her bestie Sharon's apartment in Ikoyi by afternoon. Sharon was a proper slay queen, frontals that could survive a storm, and a following just under 400k. Teni explained everything in a half-panicked rant. Sharon laughed. Babe, you day watch too much Nollywood, she said, sipping iced Zobo from a mason jar. That bonnet must be from one jazzed stylist, a beg. You're glowing, your followers are rising. And you're scared. But then Sharon paused. Wait. You said Melinda XO gave you the bonnet? Teni nodded. Sharon's smile faded slowly. Babe. That's impossible. Melinda died in a fire 2 years ago. That whole salon she owned went up in flames. Teni blinked. No, she was at the party. But the room started spinning. Sharon pulled out her phone, typed something, and showed Teni an old blog headline. Popular influencer Melinda XO dies in mysterious beauty spa fire. Body never found. Teni stared at the photo. It was the same Melinda. Same eyes. Same black gloves. But how? Then Sharon whispered, eyes wide. Teni! Look at the reflection in the glass behind her. Do you see that? And Teni did, a bleeding mouth in the mirror, smiling back. Teni's mouth went dry. The image in the blog post showed Melinda smiling in the foreground, but in the mirror behind her stood a woman with hollow eyes and blackened skin. Her jaw dislocated, mouth stretched too wide. It was the same face she'd glimpsed in her own reflection days earlier. This can't be real, she whispered, but Sharon's hand clutched hers tightly. It is. I remember now. After Melinda died, 4 of her close influencer friends vanished. They said they relocated, but their accounts just stopped. And guess what? All of them were known for always wearing bonnets in their bedtime routines. Chills ran down Teni's spine like ice water. Suddenly, her chest tightened, her breaths came shorter. She stood up. I have to go. I have to throw that thing away. Burn it. Something. But Sharon grabbed her wrist. Wait. If this is spiritual, burning it could make things worse. You know how these things work, it might anger. Whatever it is. Teni yanked her hand away. Anger it. It's already haunting me. She ran out, barely hearing Sharon call her name. Outside, the sky had darkened suddenly, clouds thick like charcoal. Lagos traffic crawled, but somehow everything felt still. Dead air. Back at her flat, she stormed into the room and yanked open the drawer. Me. The bonnet was gone. Her heart dropped. Then she saw it, on her pillow, folded neatly like it had never been touched, the gold embroidery glowing faintly in the dim light. Her phone buzzed again. You're chosen now, Teni. The process has begun. The message wasn't from Melinda this time. It was from an unknown number. No profile. No history. And somehow, the contact name had changed by itself. Ọjịdị's bride. Teni stared at the phone screen like it would explode. Ọjịdị's bride. The name pulsed faintly, as if it were alive. She tried to delete the contact. The phone froze. Tried to restart it. The screen flickered. When it finally rebooted, all her photos were gone. Every one except a single new picture she hadn't taken. Herself asleep, bonnet on, and behind her, a figure crouched near her bed, face wrapped in silk, watching. Teni dropped the phone and screamed. Her hands were trembling uncontrollably. She grabbed the bonnet, rushed to the balcony, and tried to light it on fire with a match. Nothing. It wouldn't burn. The silk didn't even heat. Instead, black smoke rose from it on its own, swirling around her head like incense. Then came the sound, faint, echoing but clear, drums. Traditional slow Igbo talking drums, playing from nowhere and everywhere at once. In the smoke she saw visions, a shrine, a young girl kneeling, her head shaved bald, blood running from her ears as a man chanted in tongues. She dropped the bonnet, screaming, breaking the vision. Then came a knock. 3 short taps. Low. Heavy. Not again. She crept to the door and opened it, praying it was her neighbor, praying it was Sharon. But it wasn't. It was Mama Ifeoma, the strange old herbalist woman who lived down the street, the one people said never aged. Her eyes were fully white. "I warned your grandmother," Mama Ifeoma said in a low, guttural voice. But she refused to return it. Now the cycle begins again. "You have worn Ọjịdị's veil." Teni choked out. Who is Ọjịdị?" Mama Ifeoma's smile didn't reach her eyes. "The river husband. The one who collects beautiful heads." Teni didn't sleep. Couldn't. Every time she closed her eyes, she heard dripping water, whispers in Igbo she couldn't understand, and the slow combing of hair, strokes that echoed in her ears like bones snapping. She wrapped her head in a scarf instead, locked the bonnet inside a shoebox, and stuffed it under her bed. But at 2:44 a.m., she woke to her scalp burning. Not itching, burning like hot oil was being poured across her skull. She shot up and raced to the mirror, dreading what she'd see. Her scarf was gone. And the bonnet was on her head, perfectly tied. She screamed and yanked it off, but clumps of her hair came with it. Her scalp red and raw, her hairline receding like it had been chemically peeled back. Her phone lit up with a notification. Instagram Live, 8,204 watching. Confused, she unlocked it. The front camera was streaming by itself. And on the screen, it wasn't her face. Not fully. Her eyes were too black, her lips too wide, and behind her stood a crowd of shadowy figures, brushing their long, wet hair in unison. She ended the live. Instantly, she received hundreds of comments. This was fire. Smiling face with heart eyes fire. That filter was too realistic. Do another one tomorrow, Baiko. Teni sobbed, clutching the bonnet in one hand and the broken mirror shard in the other. She was being pulled in 2 directions, her online glow-up and the horror clawing through her real life. Then a new DM appeared, but not from Melinda. This one was from an old account at the Shrine of Obamiri. No followers. No post. Just one message. "You've shown them your face. He's seen it now. Final night begins at midnight." Teni sat in the darkness, arms wrapped around herself, trembling. Her room didn't feel like hers anymore. The lights flickered despite PHCN giving her light all day. The shadows on the wall shifted, even though nothing moved. At exactly 12 a.m. the clock stopped ticking. Not pause, stopped. No sound. Just silence thick enough to choke on. She looked around and realized the air was too still. Her reflection in the TV, even though it was off, blinked while she didn't. The final night had begun. Her phone buzzed with a video link from at the Shrine of Obamiri. Against every instinct she tapped it. It was grainy footage of a ritual in the forest. Young women kneeling in a line, bonnets tied tight, heads bowed. A man in white chalk and red cloth moved between them, chanting as he dipped their bonnets into a blood-filled calabash. But what made her stomach twist was the final girl in the video. She looked exactly like Teni. Same face. Same scar on her left cheek from childhood. Except this video was dated 1958. Teni screamed, dropped the phone and stumbled back. Her reflection in the cracked mirror stood motionless again, and then smiled, a slow, cruel curl that made her knees weaken. "I'm you now," it whispered, though its lips didn't move. Suddenly, her phone lit up again. Sharon was calling. "Teni. Babe, I did a deep search. That bonnet. It's been posted before. Same one. Same embroidery. Same glow-up story. Every girl who wore it disappeared within 4 days. Their account still posts sometimes. But it's not them anymore. They're gone." Teni looked down at the bonnet in her lap, and it smiled. At dawn, Teni packed a single backpack. Her old Android phone, Sharon's printed directions, a white wrapper, and a bottle of anointing oil her mother had left behind before disappearing 6 years ago under mysterious circumstances. Everything pointed to the same cursed place. Oba Miri, a forgotten riverside village deep in Anambra, long erased from Google Maps but whispered about in old markets and dark corners of the internet. Sharon insisted on coming. "I don't care what this thing is," she said, gripping her pepper spray. "But I'm not letting you go alone." The road was long and tense. As they passed the last known town, Tage, the signal died, and the air turned heavy. Locals stared at them with fear when they asked for directions. One old man spat on the ground and muttered, "You carry death on your head, girl." They finally arrived at the forest's edge. There was no signboard, no welcome, just a narrow footpath buried under thick roots and vines. As they entered, the trees groaned, the sky darkened unnaturally, and the sound of distant chanting drifted on the wind. It was the same voice from Teni's dreams. Suddenly Sharon stopped. Her nose bled. "Something's wrong," she whispered. "I feel like we're being watched." Teni turned to speak but froze. Behind Sharon, not touching the ground, was a woman in a black bonnet, levitating silently, eyes rolled back, arms limp. Her face was blank, like a mask waiting to be filled. Teni blinked, and the woman vanished into mist. They kept moving, now running, until they reached a clearing. And there it stood. A massive, crumbling shrine, soaked in river moss. Symbols carved into stone. Skulls lined around the entrance. And on the door a message. "Ọjịdị awaits his bride." Teni stepped into the shrine first. The air was thick, not with dust but with grief. The floor was stone, cold and damp, but layered with ancient bonnets. Hundreds of them, twisted, burnt, some still stained with blood. The walls were covered in Sibidi symbols that seemed to writhe if you looked too long. A strange breeze moved through the shrine, yet not a single tree outside stirred. Sharon clutched her wrapper like armor. "Teni," she whispered, "this place, it's alive." As if to confirm it, the stone door slammed shut behind them with a thunderous finality. In the center of the shrine stood a massive clay idol, a faceless man with rivers flowing from his head instead of hair, and a crown of bonnets piled atop. Before it, a stone basin full of black water rippled violently when Teni approached. Then she saw them, faces beneath the water. Girls. Influencers. Women she'd seen online. Some still had ring lights glowing dimly beside their sunken heads. They weren't just taken. They were trapped, looped in an eternal stream of visibility and silence. From the shadows behind the idol, a voice emerged, slow, deep, and cruel. "You wore my veil willingly, Tiniola. You fed me like mirror's vanity. You let the world see you more than you saw yourself." Then he stepped out. Not spirit, not ghost. Ọjịdị. Tall, smooth-skinned, with eyes like wet coal. He wore only a red wrapper, chest scarred with markings of women's names. "You came to break the curse," he smiled. "But it is not a curse. It is worship." Teni gripped the bottle of oil, and Ọjịdị's smile widened. "Pour that, and Sharon dies in your place." Teni froze, oil bottle trembling in her hands. Sharon gasped beside her, already backing away, eyes wide with betrayal and fear. "Teni! Don't listen to him, she whispered. But Ọjịdị's presence was overwhelming, magnetic. His voice echoed from the walls, the water, even the bonnets on the floor. This is how it works, he said. One soul in, one soul out. You break the chain or you become the next link. Choose. With a wave of his hand, Sharon collapsed to her knees, choking on invisible smoke curling into her throat. Her skin began to blister like fire was rising under it. Teni screamed, running to her friend, grabbing her hand. It was ice cold. Stop it, she shouted. She's not part of this. Ọjịdị only laughed. They always bring someone, thinking love is strong enough. It never is. His face began to change, flickering between her face, Melinda's, even her mother's. You wear beauty like armor, but beauty is my offering. Your glow belongs to me now. Teni stared into the basin again. The faces beneath the water, they were weeping, trapped in a forever reflection. She looked at Sharon, barely breathing, eyes pleading. Then back at the oil. Then at the bonnets around her. Teni stood. Then take me, she said. Silence fell like a curtain. Ọjịdị tilted his head, amused. Voluntary sacrifice. Rare. His body began to dissolve into black mist, swirling toward her. But know this, once the veil binds fully, there is no returning. Your face will still smile. Your followers will still cheer. But your soul will scream. Forever. Teni took one final breath, stepped forward, and placed the bonnet back on her head. The shrine erupted in light. The instant the bonnet touched her scalp, Teni felt it. A rush of heat flooding her skull, her eyes rolling back, her chest tightening like ropes were pulling her lungs from inside. Light poured from the idol's mouth. The shrine shook, dust falling like rain, bonnets lifting off the floor and spinning in circles. Ọjịdị's laughter echoed through the chamber. Yes, yes. Finally, a willing bride. The vanity of a new generation. But then, something changed. The mist around him twisted, recoiled. He staggered back. Because Teni wasn't praying. She was whispering her grandmother's deliverance chants. Hidden beneath the silk, tucked inside the bonnet lining, was a strip of red cloth. Her mother's anointed wrapper from years ago. Teni had sewn it in before leaving. Calculated risk. The oil she carried. Not just church oil. It had been mixed with ashes from her grandmother's burned Bible, passed down secretly in their family. Ọjịdị's form cracked like dried clay, pieces falling to the shrine floor. You deceived me, he bellowed, black veins pulsing across his chest. Teni ripped the bonnet from her head, now glowing white-hot with spiritual fire, and tossed it into the basin of cursed water. The water screamed. Faces twisted, stretched, and burst into light. Then silence. The shrine cracked from the ceiling down. Wind howled. Bonnet after bonnet ignited in flames, and Ọjịdị's body collapsed. His last breath a choking hiss. Then everything went dark. When Teni woke, she was outside the shrine, head bare, sky clear. Sharon stirred beside her, alive, breathing. But something wasn't right. Teni reached for her phone. The screen blinked to life. At Teni.Black posted a story 2 hours ago. She hadn't touched it. Teni's hands trembled as she unlocked her phone. Her account was active. Stories posted. A reel uploaded just 30 minutes ago. Her voice, her face, her smile. But she hadn't recorded anything. The caption read, Beauty never dies. Hashtag glow forever, hashtag river blessed droplet crown. She tapped the story. It was footage of her in her room, brushing her hair, bonnet on. Except she was still outside, sitting in dirt, feet blistered from the shrine. Sharon leaned over and saw the screen. That's not you, she whispered. That's something else. The comments were flooding in. This is your best glow-up yet, OMG. Where's the bonnet from? Teach us, sis. The post had over 1.2 million views. They rushed back to Lagos the next morning. Every billboard with her recent brand collab still stood. Her face smiled from posters on 3rd Mainland Bridge. But none of it felt like hers. Her phone kept glitching. At random moments, her lock screen would flash a reflection that wasn't hers. The eyes were too wide, too black. Even when she tried to log out of her account, it logged her back in by itself. She deleted the app, it reinstalled. That night, Sharon left to buy food. Teni sat alone. No bonnet. No light. Her laptop opened by itself. Her camera turned on. And on screen her reflection moved before she did. Smiling slowly, lifting a bonnet in its hand, even though Teni was empty-handed. Then it spoke, mouth not sinking to her lips. "You didn't destroy me. You gave me a platform." Her phone buzzed. New notification. A Teni.Black is live. But the screen showed her alone in a dark room, slowly turning toward the camera. Teni stared into the glowing screen. Her digital twin moved independently now, grinning at the thousands watching live. Behind her doppelganger, the shadows of long-dead Slay Queens swayed, brushing hair that didn't grow, their bonnets tied forever tight. The live stream chat exploded with praise. "Omo, you look possessed," smiling face with heart is. "Hair laid like your ancestors blessed you." They had no idea how right they were. Sharon burst in, gasping. "It's happening again, isn't it?" Teni nodded. The shrine was only the beginning. Ọjịdị didn't die. He migrated. To where? Sharon asked. Teni looked at her phone, then at her reflection. The algorithm. The spirit had adapted. It no longer needed rivers or shrines. It lived in filters, mirrors, reposts, each share a ritual, each like an offering. The bonnet was just the bait. The real curse was visibility without identity. But Teni had one card left. She opened the Instagram app one last time, started a live video. But this time, she faced the back camera, and in front of her was a small bronze mirror her grandmother had hidden years ago. A true ancestral object. She held it up to the screen, reciting the final words Mama Ifioma had whispered into her ear before vanishing. Let reflection swallow shadow. Let spirit forget the face it stole. The phone sparked. The mirror shattered. The live stream glitched violently. And then silence. The app force closed. Teni's account disappeared. Completely. No trace. No archive. No shadow. In the real world, her face returned to the mirror. Her hair was gone. Her skin raw. But she was herself. The bonnet. Pile of ash. But far away on a random phone in Kenya, an influencer found a silky black bonnet in a PR package. And smiled.